The mantras, and this is actually something that is very, very unique within the Indian spiritual tradition. We're the only tradition I know of that actually has a scripture on sound. We actually have scripture on sound because it's not just something that's beautiful, something that sounds nice. It actually is as transformative as everything that we do. So here's the scripture on how we perform yagna. Here's the scripture on sound. They're both transformative. Now, why though? Well, the mantras themselves are actually alchemical. It's not just a prayer. I'll come back to that piece at the end. But the actual Sanskrit mantras, even if you don't know what they mean, and we always say this because we have so many people who come from abroad and who come and who join in the yagna, join in the arati. Even if you have no idea what these mantras mean, the vibrational energy of the Vedic mantras is powerful enough that it actually alchemically transforms you. There's a power in the sound itself. It may have been written by a person, but it was written by the rishis, who were channels. I mean, you could put a knife in most people's hands, and the best they can do is chop up some carrots and make you a salad. But you put a knife in the hand of a doctor and he can save your life. So yeah, they're both humans. The tool is the same. But their ability is the difference between whether you end up with a salad or you end up with a heart transplant. And so, yes, the rishis, of course, were people. But what they were serving as is channels of the divine. And I mean, there's innumerable stories about all of the powers that the rishis had that absolutely defy how we understand human limitations, whether it's limitations of time, of space, of knowledge, of awareness. So they may have been in human form, but they certainly were being given a power that just needed to come through a form in order to take form. But they weren't limited by the form the way that we are. And so the mantras that they've given us are actually scientifically, alchemically able to change and to transform and to heal and to produce and to manifest so much. And that's why when you just say a prayer in English or Hindi or whatever, it doesn't have that same feeling. Now, that being said, God speaks every language. And the language of love and the language of devotion is, of course, the most important. And, Puja Swamiji always emphasizes that in terms of manifesting, creating, connecting, love is the most important ingredient. You can chant all the Sanskrit mantras you want, but if there's not the love, the bhav, the feeling, nothing's going to happen. That devotion is the crucial ingredient. So if your choice is correct Sanskrit or devotion, well, devotion is going to be much more powerful. We've got innumerable examples of Mira is a beautiful example of what devotion can do. On the other hand, if you can couple devotion and perfect Sanskrit mantras, nothing like it. This is where magic happens. Mira is few and far between. It's very difficult for most people to generate the level of devotion I mean, it's a beautiful and divine example to hold out as where we all need to go. But most people, if they drink poison, are going to die from the poison. Most people don't have the devotional ability to take poison into their body as nectar of Krishna. So it's a perfect example of where we can go. But for most of us, if along with that love and devotion we actually can have that ability of the Sanskrit, that's where the magic happens. Because there really is a magic and a science there.